Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
Today, an illegal immigrant who killed someone in Troy is set to be sentenced. Carlos Corrales Ramirez pleaded guilty to the deadly stabbing last month. He admitted to killing a man near River and Dow Streets last September. The Honduras native was also charged with a stabbing in Maryland last February. He was arrested for that crime, but was later released because Maryland officials never extradited him. Now he's facing 25 years to life in prison.
We sure hope it isn't going to get worse, but Dana, to that point, our ICE enforcement officers, our law enforcement are seeing a 700% increase in assaults against them. Over the weekend, we saw 3 of these different incidents. There was as well Border Patrol were shot at. They were ambushed as well, again in Texas. We saw this again in Portland. This is something our Homeland Security investigators and the FBI and other interagency partners are really digging into. But there's something broader going on, and it's that politicians and the media alike are trying to normalize violence and attack against our law enforcement. You look at Karen Bass out of California, Gavin Newsom, Tim Walz, all of them likening ICE enforcement officers and our first responders to the Nazis, to the modern day Gestapo. That is giving a free pass to these lunatics to take action and really get someone killed.
We're witnessing a mass mental breakdown. Look at these freaks speeding a Trump effigy with sticks. Look at that. They're now claiming California is a part of Mexico.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours.
If you could say something to Donald Trump right now, what would you say?
Donald Trump, you can my left, you can get out of my drawer. You're just maga Salma Hayek when you give it the time of day, bitch. And because Claudia Sheinbaum make you look like a loser.
People like this need to fix themselves before they try to fix the country. Go for a jog, read a book, see a therapist. We're worried about you.
It's despicable, and it is incumbent upon Democrat politicians and the media to turn this rhetoric down.
I'm Mayor Basshole. I hate America. I love illegals. I will now give them money. I take it from Whitey and give to them.
Good evening, America. Unless you're watching from California, then maybe not so good. Just kidding. Sort of, it's your favorite president, some say the best ever. And tonight, I've got a few things to say. So grab your popcorn, turn off the fake news, and let's talk about what's really going on. It's going to be good, really good.
Immigration agents are increasingly under attack as Homeland Security announces a more than 800% increase in assaults on its officers.
I've been doing this since 1984, so I've worked for 6 different presidents.
So you've seen some stuff.
I've seen a lot. Like, and that's one of the benefits I have. You know, I've seen hundreds of policies come and go. I've seen what worked and what didn't. I saw how each president, you know, what action they took to secure the border and enforce immigration law. President Obama actually gave me a Presidential Rank Award because one year we removed 409,000 people, which was a record for the agency. And that was his first 4 years. Of course, second 4 years, I think he pretty much did a 180 and shut us down. But yeah, I worked for President Obama. I worked for Reagan, Bush, Clinton. I worked for all of them. I did not work for President Biden.
That is a very clear gap in your resume. You were not in the working for an administration during those years. How would you, though, compare Obama to Trump in terms of the work that you're doing?
The first 4 years under Obama, we were leaning forward on immigration enforcement on the interior. Second 4 years, pretty much shut down. Let me be clear: President Trump, his enforcement strategy on the border and the interior is unprecedented. No one had more success than President Trump. I mean, the first 4 years under President Trump, Trump 45, we had the most secure border in history of this nation, and Joe Biden took that border and unsecured it on purpose. Trump 47, we blew 45 out of the water. I mean, our success is much better than 45, even though 45 was unprecedented. There's a little bit more work to do. I mean, I think like the average day under Biden, there was 1,800 gotaways. Yesterday, there was 18. right? 18 too many.
I think no question what you've done at the actual border in terms of just the huge drop in border crossings is significant and unprecedented. I think the question now is the deportation operation from the interior, right? I mean, Obama did get that moniker, deporter in chief. That was supposed to be kind of an insult from the progressives in his party. I think President Trump would actually love that nickname, but you haven't reached the pace of Obama administration deportations. Are you frustrated by that?
Well, we got to remember how Obama administration counted those numbers. And I knew because I was running enforcement removal operations. They took border patrol apprehensions, handed them to ICE, and ICE did the removal. So ICE claimed the removal. They're double static. And I know because I was there. They wanted to push the numbers to say, okay, well, Border Patrol, give all your apprehensions to ICE, and ICE do the process and remove them. Rather than Border Patrol just turning around and VR them or expedited removal, they were playing the game. Let's give them to ICE, let ICE process room. That way ICE can claim the stat. So the 409,000 removals is a number that it's I would call a dishonest number as far as me call ICE. Were they really ICE removals? Well, technically, I guess because they did the paperwork, but Border Patrol could remove them right away, but they didn't. So we got to understand that number. It's a play with numbers. But right now, we're facing unprecedented assault on immigration enforcement. We got more sanctuary cities than ever before. We got more governors and mayors pushing back, and it causes less efficiency. Back in the day, one agent can arrest one criminal alien in jail. But now, since we're releasing them in our most target-rich environments, our biggest cities, LA, Chicago, New York, they're releasing hundreds a day into the street. Now we got to send a whole team, not just one, a whole team to go find somebody that want to be found. So, in a lot of roadblocks, we got all these court injunctions that are stopping us from removing people. So we're swimming uphill, but even though we got all these, roadblocks in front of us, we're getting through it. And again, we got 3 times as many criminals arrested as Biden did. So we're doing well, but we can do much better if we didn't have the sanctuary cities doing everything they can to prevent us from doing this job.
The Department of Homeland Security is blaming Democratic politicians for a spike in recent assaults on U.S. immigration and customs officers.
Mayor Bass, this is kind of more of a broader national question. Reports indicate that ICE agents and police officers in Texas have been targeted in ambushes, including in Alvarado, where assailants in tactical gear allegedly lured officers with fireworks before opening fire. Given your strong opposition to federal immigration enforcement actions in Los Angeles, how would you address similar escalations of violence against law enforcement in Texas, and what steps would you propose to prevent such unrest from spreading to Los Angeles while balancing community safety and your sanctuary city policies?
Well, let me just say that the quote-unquote riots that we're reporting never happened. We did have a couple of incidences of vandalism and looting, but the way it was portrayed nationally was like the whole city was up in flames. The comparison to 1992, which was completely 100% inappropriate. And I think the example that you use, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with it. It was from some other state.
Yes, Texas. 11.
I have no idea what happened in Texas. What I do know is what happened in Los Angeles.
11 people were
happening in Los Angeles has been completely.
Mayor, 11 people were arrested for trying to attack ICE agents and federal law enforcement. So I was just trying to get your perspective on how you're going to contain the situation here in Los Angeles and the unrest.
I can't respond in Texas.
Okay. Thank you.
A few moments later.
The ICE disappearing people in the streets, will you get in the way? Yes! If you are charged with enforcing any part of the president's unlawful executive orders, will you resist? Yes! If your neighbor needs a place to hide, will you hide them? Yes! And right now, as the Maine legislature is trying to scapegoat transgender student athletes bargaining long-held civil rights away in hopes that it will save Maine's federal funding, will you show up for them and say that our human rights aren't for sale? Yes! Thank you.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem directing her ire at California Governor Gavin Newsom, posting, "Just in, our brave ICE law enforcement are now facing, as you mentioned, an 830% increase in assaults against them. This new data reflects the violence against our law enforcement in cities across the country in the last few weeks."
Take a look at this video right here. It appears a protester fired some kind of gun at federal agents. This happened this afternoon. It was a really chaotic scene at the time. A lot of smoke was being launched at the protesters. And again, it appears a protester fired back with that weapon. It looks like he fired at least a couple of times. We have not heard about any agents being hurt.
Politicians across the country, regardless of political stripe, must condemn this. Gavin Newsom, we're looking at you. The FBI announced it has captured a former Marine Corps reservist accused of shooting at ICE officers at a Texas detention facility on July 4th. The FBI Dallas field office says it apprehended this man, 32-year-old Benjamin Song, Tuesday afternoon in Dallas. Charges include 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 counts of discharging a firearm. He's accused of firing 2 AR-15 style rifles at 2 correctional officers and 1 Alvarado police officer. Song allegedly joined a group of up to 12 others in a premeditated attack on the officers at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado on Independence Day.
You know, let's hope that no one is hurt and no one is injured and it doesn't escalate from here. Look at the flag. Yeah, Guy, I see
there it is.
You
Mexican flag can,
this is criminal activity that I hope is people are held accountable for. And I'm talking about the riots right here.
Where are the cops?
Yeah, where are they?
Now, President Trump recently said he thinks very stupid people on the left are getting financed to carry out attacks like this on ICE agents and other police officers, noting the suspects were kitted out with new military-style rifles and other tactical gear.
Now, the funding of these organizations is really important. There's a group called Churla, which has caught some attention, and rightfully so. Laura Powell is an attorney, and she had a great thread on this this week. And she said, if you're a Californian right now, you should know that you are funding the riots that are going on here. They've been set off by an organization called the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights LA. That's what it stands for, Churla. She says it's one of the key players in fomenting all of the violent response here to immigration enforcement actions. It's an LA-based nonprofit, and it's got a huge history of taking radical positions on immigration. You know what that means? There are 4 illegal aliens invading the country. In 2018, they supported a campaign to abolish ICE. In fact, I checked their website this morning. I was looking over it. They've got teams of people who are dedicated to helping illegal aliens stay in the country and mount legal defenses for them to try and scramble the court process and keep illegal aliens here and prevent them from being deported. They're full-time dedicated to the invasion of the United States. That's what this group is. And right now, they currently lead something called the Los Angeles Rapid Response Network, which gathers intel about enforcement actions, that would be law enforcement, and then deploys activists to respond. That's another way of saying obstruct justice. Churla has very strong ties to the Democrat Party in California, and they've supported the election of Democrat candidates through their lobbying arm. They have a very close relationship with the out-of-control Los Angeles mayor, Karen Bass.
We have been able to purchase an 83,000 square foot building with an investment from the state of California. So the state of California has actually provided Churla with a $20 million grant, an infrastructure grant that was supported by Senator Maria Elena Durazo, the Speaker of the Assembly at that time, Rendon, Senate Pro Tem Tony Atkins, and also the Governor Gavin Newsom.
What?
It's like this self-feeding loop, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And in this case, it goes even one step further, because this general problem is these public dollars are being used to promote democratic causes, which result in bad policies, which result in cities like Los Angeles or New York having more crime and everything that comes with those policies. But here, they take it a step further, and the public dollars are themselves being used in order to facilitate criminal activity like we saw in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so then they burn down the city, organizing themselves with our money, and then they go back and go, hey, can you help us rebuild what we just burnt down? I mean, it's all so insane. I'm really glad there's some common sense people.
The people that are shooting at the cop, throwing the bricks, they should stop the cars immediately and arrest them all.
This is how backwards the mindset is in California.
When it's time to go, you can choose how. You can wait for enforcement, or you can leave on your terms. The CBP Home app lets you self-deport with dignity, directly and securely. Don't wait. Decide how it ends.
We didn't need the National Guard. Why on earth? What are they going to do?
Flashback.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States. The letter here tells the tale. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. You believe this, Sandra?
Which means they are here, and this is just an unbelievable development. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John. This is America Reports. Let's get right to Bill Malugin. He's got this news for us. He's live out of Douglas, Arizona right now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit later this afternoon. Bill, the details of this news, what do you have?
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered deported from the country by a judge but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket. According to a letter that the acting director of ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime. Of that number, over 13,000 non-citizens have convictions for homicide and are on the non-detained docket, meaning they're roaming the country right now. On top of that, there are another 15,811 non-citizens convicted of sexual assault who are roaming the country right now on ICE's non-detained docket. It doesn't stop there. Those are convictions. The ICE director also says there are currently just under 1,900 non-citizens on the non-detained docket who have pending homicide charges who are roaming the country, and another 4,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges who are roaming the country on the non-detained docket. So people's eyes might be glazing over right now with all the numbers we just threw at you. Just to put it in a nutshell right here, what we've learned from the acting ICE director via this letter to Congressman Tony Gonzalez is right now there are over 13,000 illegal aliens convicted of homicide who are roaming the United States right now. There are another 15,811 illegal aliens roaming the country right now who have been convicted of sexual assault, and there are even more who are facing charges for homicide and charges for sexual assault. So this just goes to show, guys, the non-detained docket has exploded under the Biden administration to over, I believe it's 7.3 million. They're anticipating it could hit 8 million by the end of the year. But looking at the numbers on this letter right here, there are currently over 600,000 non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket who are either convicted, 600,000 non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now. Of that, 425,000 have already been convicted of crimes. 222,000 are pending crimes. And again, the most serious crimes we just told you about.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you
We didn't need the National Guard. Why on earth? What are they going to do? we didn't need the National Guard, why on earth, what are they going to do?
But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Do you believe deploying the military to conduct law enforcement on U.S. soil is legal?
Look, we have to make certain that we protect American cities. If not for President Trump, Los Angeles would be burning right now. We had 6 ICE agents that were totally in fear of their life because local officials, an incompetent mayor, a grossly incompetent governor, refused to do their job.
Is there anything you would not find acceptable for the U.S. military to do on U.S. soil?
Look, President Trump understands what the Constitution is. He understands what the laws are. We have to protect our cities. We have to protect our ICE agents. We have to protect our federal buildings. And Gavin Newsom should maybe get off Twitter and start actually going down to L.A. and protecting his own citizens.
The courts have ruled on the Guard. They will be back under my command.
A few moments later.
Okay, why is Trump back in control of the National Guard, you guys? What the hell is going on? First I lose my pool boy Roberto, and now this? I seriously need a mani-pedi right now. A bottle of wine, cherry ice cream, and a whole season of Will and Grace. Fuck this politics thingy.
What's actually happening is they're buying voters. That's really what's happening. It's like a giant voter fraud scam. They're importing voters. It's easy to understand if you look at basic incentives. The basic incentive here is the more illegals that the Democrats can bring in, the more likely they are to win. So that's what they're going to do. That's what they have been doing, and it worked in California. California's supermajority Dem. And look at all the companies that are leaving California.
Yeah.
I mean, In-N-Out just announced they're leaving.
Yep.
Their headquarters leaving California.
They're moving to Tennessee.
A fourth day of rallies and protests on the streets of Los Angeles.
It was a peaceful rally. What is going on right now is also peaceful.
Here we are expecting rallies later on.
When they show up, we gotta show up even stronger.
In Los Angeles, there is a new crowd of protesters that has been building.
CNN had it that these were rallies. Now they've become protests. I'm afraid that by tonight they become riots. If we don't have the ability to stand up and stop this violence before it consumes a great city like Los Angeles, then there's no telling where this could spread.
Hardworking, good people, and they're the backbone of our city, and they should have access to all the things that we have access to. And I just don't think they understand that it's a political pawn. I don't think they understand
It's a political game.
This is not done for compassion and kindness.
No.
This is just done to ensure that it stays blue.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's essentially a bribery with your tax dollars.
Yes, this is why the Dems will not even deport criminals.
Yeah.
Because every criminal deported is a lost vote.